Yo, what up, bros? I hope you're all doing well, and I hope your week has been going amazing. I hope to hear wonderful things about your blading, and I see a lot of you guys have been investing your time into Heist, and I hear Heist is doing fantastic, especially with these build of the weeks. Did you know that alt quality mana leech has like spiked through the roof, courtesy of build of the week? It's pretty cool. Secondary grading lenses spike through the roof. Primer grading lenses have gone up. Everything about Heist has gone up. Blight is still doing fantastic for currency, but today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. So if you're watching this video and you're doing your blights, or you're robbing your gems, or you're just hanging out, sit down, grab a drink, and let's talk a little bit about, as you might have guessed, the Elderslayers. Now, me personally, I've been farming my currency. I've been playing a character. I've been both playing this Tornado Shot character. My buddy Will let me. Big shout out to him. And I've been playing a Cast on Crit Fireball character, which I love to bits and has been my favorite character of the league. Now, I've been doing this strategy for a couple days now on stream. If you've head on over to my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Travic, you'll see that I've been buying in invitations for Elderslayers. I picked up a ton of maps. I want to say that I picked up 40 sets of Elderslayer maps. I think it was 40 for about 13 divines. I've gotten a ton of maps back. I just can't go through them fast enough with how fast I'm doing them, plus the invitations, plus getting them back, plus running Sirius, plus everything else. And I kind of wanted to spend a couple of minutes, and I just wanted to talk to you about the invitation, the farming strategy, what I've been doing, and how overall I've been handling it. I made a lot of money recently doing the strategy, about 60 or 70 divines. The 40 maps that I've bought have just paid off themselves in tenfold. Now, the strategy itself is very simple. Go on TFT or the trade website, buy a metric ton of Elderslayer maps. You know, that's Baron, Veritania, Alhazim, and Drox. Run those maps, get the invitation, do the invitation, get the fragments, kill Sirius with the invitation plus Sirius, get a Maven, do Maven, sell Maven, and so forth and so on. And there's a lot of things that we can be doing. The first thing you want to do is buy a bunch of maps. You buy a bunch of maps, you run all 4 maps. We'll talk about the maps in a second. You get the invitation, you roll the invitation to as high as you can do it. You do the invitation, you get a bunch of splinters and fragments. Every 2 invitations will net you a whole Maven fight, which is pretty cool. And then you're getting a bunch of different Exalted Orbs. Overall, the strategy, I think, is a lot of fun. I think it's very profitable if you do it in long play periods. And I just kind of wanted to show you what it is and how it works. The first thing that we're going to do, like I said, we're going to grab our map. We're going to open our map. We're going to do whatever Atlas strategy we want to do alongside this. Right now I have Essences, I have Harbinger. I'm going to ignore all that. I want to get straight to the boss and kind of show you a little bit of how I've been making my currency doing this strategy. If you guys want to see a copy of my Atlas tree, I'll put it down in the description down below, and you guys can take a look at it. The Atlas tree, the only thing that's important on the Atlas tree we'll touch on in a minute is just making sure that you can do, you know, the invitations and, you know, the Uber fights if your character can handle Ubers, but we'll get there in a minute. One thing I do want to do is I want to run this map, and I just kind of want to give you an overview of what's going on, how this is working, what I've been doing, why I'm making money, and, you know, just overall things to look at and consider when doing this. So now we get to the boss, we kill the boss, Maven's all happy. We're going to open a portal because in case we die, and we're going to go say, "Hello, friend," as he casts us into a pit of infinite torture. We'll kill him really quick, and we'll just overall talk about the loot. Now, with my loot filter, I know right now you're saying, "Wow, exciting loot." And you're right. I think it's actually pretty cool. This card is really good. It gives us a synthesized map. You always find these cards, so you're always every 5 maps going to have enough cards, or every 6 or 7 maps going to have enough cards to get a synthesized map. The maps are about 30C a piece unless you get Cortex, and they're overall really pricey. On top of that, we're going to get a fragment for Baron. The fragment for Baron runs us about 14C. You got just to show you about 14C. I know it says 12, but you go down a little bit, majority are 14. And some of the other things that we're going to see is we're going to see a lot of items down here that have influence on them. Now, why my loot filter didn't pick them up, that's pretty simple. The bases were bad. But I like picking up certain bases, for example, Baron armors, and I like looking for Explodey because sometimes you get Explodey, sometimes you get really cool stuff, and I pick up a lot of bases and I sell a lot of bases. So while yes, you're looking at me doing this encounter, me getting a 14C crest, a card that's worth 10C. Oh, wow. These are actually up to 10. Card that's worth 10C. A lot of the gear that falls is actually worth a little bit of a penny. Now, when we do Hunter, we can find like Tailwind Boots, which are divine apiece. Now, the loot overall varies just like any other map that you do, any other farming strategy. Sometimes the bosses are going to give you a ton of loot. Sometimes they're going to give you no loot. And it's going to be very hit or miss. With this strategy, though, you're double dipping into a couple things. One, you're doing Maven invitations. So the boss itself, the map boss, has a chance of dropping Awakened Gems. It's very, 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 very rare. I've seen it happen once in like 30 sets. So I'm not saying it's a good source of income. I'm saying it happens. Another thing you'll do is you'll find a bunch of like random other stuff according to your Atlas strategy, which is really good. You'll kill your map boss. You'll get Maven invitation for the 10 map fight. You'll get Maven invitations for the Elderslayer fight. But the big, big, big payoff is killing these Elderslayers. These Elderslayers, they drop a lot of loot. They're really good. Hunter's Exalted Orb, a crest, and some armor and a helmet. Now, I'll definitely take the time to look at this. Unfortunately, it's not double modded, so it's not worth anything. Same thing with this. We'll take a look at this. If you find gear that's dropping and you want to take a look at it, things that I look for are the prefixes and suffixes. It'll say Hunter. So if you notice in this one, it says prefix modifier Hunter tier 2. If it said Hunter tier 1, I'd be more intrigued to keep looking into it a bit more. This is going to be like one of those things where like, I'm going to tell you about this and you're going to be like, wow, none of that makes sense. And it's going to be like one of those things that makes sense as you play more and you look into this more. With gear that falls, you want to kind of keep an eye out for gear that has multiple mods of the same type. So what I mean by that is like, you're like, hey, look, it's a piece of Hunter gear. Does it have 2 Hunter mods on it? This way for elevation. I sell a lot of random gear, 30, 40, 50C, that people are trying to buy to elevate. A really good example would be this piece of gear right here that I got earlier. I had to like refilm this because I messed up. But I found this piece of gear that has increased int on it. You'll see it says suffix modifier of the Crusade, tier 1 increase int. And then it'll say suffix modifier of the Crusade, recover energy shield, tier 2. This is a really good base for people trying to elevate bases because they want to elevate the increase int. This base fell on the floor. It took me 2 seconds to identify. It'll sell for like 30C because people want to elevate the increase int. It's only got 2 mods on it. So that's a little bit, I know it's a little bit more advanced. But for those of you guys who are doing elevation stuff, you'll know. Now, with the invitation, I just wanted to kind of like blow this up and show you. This will drop a lot of loot in itself, which is really cool. And you'll make good money doing this. As you see, we get the card, 10C. We get the VERITANIA crest, 15C. We get the Orb of Unmaking. We get another free map. These maps, once again, about 25, 30C. We get 6 splinters. And then we get a bunch of loot that we can take the time to look at. Now, power charge helmets, they go for a whole lot. There's no power charge there. We can look for exploding on the armor here. No exploding. And then if we just accidentally manage to stumble across something good, like on this one, if we get, say, spell crit, tier 2, not good enough. But if it would have been tier 1 with attack crit, we could sell it because it's an elevated base. And we just take the time, we look at some of this stuff, and some of this stuff just sells really well and is good money. Now, I know that's a lot to take in, and I apologize, and it's a little confusing. I don't mean for it to be confusing. But my point being is these invitations are 120C. These maps are 30C a piece. There's a reason for it. And the reason is they drop a lot of loot. Loot is really good. The loot is highly desired by players. And the loot can make you a lot of money. Now, for example, things I want to point out. When running these and doing these, killing the map boss is great. We'll get progress towards Maven 10 fight. We'll get Maven progress towards the invitation. So that's 2 sets of invitations we can run. That's 2 sets of Awakened Gems. And that's a bunch of splinters that we'll get for the Maven fight. If we can do the Maven fight and we do the fight on Uber, there's a really good chance at making a ton of money there. If we can't do the fight on Uber, we could sell the Maven's Writ, and the Maven's Writ will net us 1.1 divine. So every 2 sets of maps that we do will net a free divine, which is pretty cool because we can just sell the invitation. The Sirius set, once again, these fragments sell for about 14C a piece. So we'll say 15C. So every 4 maps you'll do, you get 60C. If you get any of the Exalted Orbs, the Hunter's Orbs, anything like that, we just got a Hunter's Exalted Orb. We're looking at 110, 120C. We got 2 of these synthesized maps, or we have 3 of them now. They're about 10C each. And there's a lot of little loot that you can do with this strategy that adds up very, very, very quick. And it's very profitable and it's very good. Now, if your character can't run the Uber Sirius and your character can't do the Uber Maven, sell the fragments, sell the invitations. Don't bother. Just sell them, make your profit. Me, on the other hand, I've been running them. I found a couple of flasks already, both off of Sirius, both off of Maven. I found a ton of Awakened gems that have sold, and just all kinds of different loot and different things that have made me a ton of profit over the last couple of days. Granted, I have none of that profit left over, as I have no self-control, and I spent all my currency on all kinds of different fun projects, as I'm currently working on a new one for a future video. And overall, it's just a lot of fun. The invitations are really good time. The loot is plentiful, and the fights themselves are pretty good. And I just want to reiterate, I bought all of my maps. I bought about 40 sets of maps off of TFT. I spent 13 divines. I went to TFT instead of the trade website because it's a lot easier to buy sets of maps. It took me about 30 seconds to buy all the maps. Guys sold them to me, no problem. Those 13 divines that I spent, I have made about 70 or 80 divines, roughly. Just from the things that you see here, I've gotten Hunter's Exalted Orbs, Crusader's Exalted Orbs. I've gotten Maven Writs. I've also gotten, because I run the fights, I've gotten Orbs of Dominance. I've gotten Awakener's Orbs. I've gotten Orbs of Conflict. I sold all of my elevated sextants because I do the Maven. And my Atlas tree is set up to do just very basic stuff. Essence, Strongbox, Harbinger, Harvest. And I make a lot of extra money by just like running the map and clearing the map. Now, there are other things you can do where you can take Wandering Path and you can fill in all the small little nodes. I don't bother to do that because I don't want to like respec and unspec my Atlas. The Atlas tree can be tailored and set. The Atlas tree can be set up to whatever way you would like to farm. It's just in addition to what you're doing, and if you want to try something different. And the biggest reason why I started doing this, and I said, why are these invitations so expensive? There's got to be a reason that they're 120C. I just don't understand it. So I said, I'm going to go out. I'm going to buy a bunch of maps. I'm going to buy a bunch of invitations. And I started self-sustaining invitations. I started finding invitations. I started buying invitations. And even with buying the invitations, you still make a ton of currency. I wouldn't do this strategy if you think that you're going to make more money than the Winged Sextant strategy. I think the Winged Sextant strategy is probably still one of the best things that you could be doing. I don't think this is going to be better money than finding apothecary cards. I think that's still really good. But if you're just looking for something mid-tier, something super simple, something you don't have to think of, you can open and close and blast maps and get your sanctums and kill some bosses, it's really solid and really good. And like I said, if you can kill Maven, that's a bonus. If you can kill Sirius, that's a bonus. But I would run the 4 maps. I'd open the invitation. I'd blow the bosses to heck and back and sell everything. It's pretty good. I know me personally, I get a lot of bases and I just have a lot of fun with them. I elevated myself Tailwind boots. They're somewhere. I have Onslaught boots here. I elevated Tailwind boots. I don't know what the heck I did with them. Picked up Elusive boots. But yeah, overall, it's been pretty good. I found this base. I don't think it's going to sell, but another good example, elevated Hunter Life. A bunch of really cool stuff on it. It's probably not going to sell for 2 divines, but whatever. I found another base that I just have listed that I'm going to mess around with later myself. It's got spell suppression on Cursor. I'll probably try to craft something cool on it later. And you just find really cool stuff to just like mess around with and have a good time. I'm really curious. Where are those Tailwind boots? I know I found a pair of Tailwind boots somewhere. It's going to drive me nuts now. Oh, there they are. I found Sork boots with Tailwind on them. I was just like, what the heck? Like, just natural dropping Tailwind Sork boots. I was like, that's pretty sweet, man. That's pretty dope. And then, you know, sometimes you just get 2 modded boots and you YOLO elevate. You got YOLO Tailwind boots. But yeah, like I said, it's just a fun strategy. It's something cool and exciting. You can make a ton of money doing it. You can see a ton of really cool items. You get to do a bunch of bosses, a bunch of different layouts. You get to do the Maven Crucible, and it's something different from altar farming. If you want to stop and take a break and find something so you don't, you know, just to spice it up a little bit. I have been testing outside of this. I've been testing Shaper, Elder. They're still really good. I would really advise that if you're looking for farming strategies to just literally go run Shaper, Elder, and do the exact same thing as this, but Shaper and Elder. But overall, I just wanted to talk to you guys about it. I wanted to just let you know what I've been doing and that it's really profitable. And Moral of the story, everything in PoE is super profitable right now. And it's a good time, and it's a lot of fun. But for now, I'm going to go bang out some more maps. I'm going to work on my next project. I'm making a really cool character. My little secret project tab, my little Void Forge. Don't look at it. My little 8-link Void Forge coming soon. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys learned something. If you have any questions, don't, feel free to ask. Leave a comment down below. You can join the Discord. Yeah, if you just want to know about like what I've been doing, like I said, it's not the best Divine's Power. It can be really, really good if you hit really well, but RNG is RNG. So don't expect to make better consistent money than like the Winged Skexant one, but you could spike really hard doing this. So if you like spiky strategies and something that's a little bit different, this is for you. And if you want to try it out and it works really well for you, let me know down below. If you tried it out and you hate it, let me know down below. If you have any suggestions to make it better, I'd love to hear about it. But for now, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks guys for being here. You guys are great and wonderful and amazing. Have a great weekend or rest of your week or morning, evening, afternoon, or whenever you see this video. So long, farewell, Avita. Say goodbye.